Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Dice Tower. I'm Camilla.
I'm Z Garcia.
I'm Joey Evans.
We're going to be taking a look at a rollin' right, drafting right, flipping right, drafting right game called Draftin' Right Records.
Ooh.
It's going to be a game where you are putting together your band member and you're planning out your schedule and trying to become famous. So let's take a look at how to play.
In the game, the players are going to be drafting these cards here and filling in their sheets until an endgame trigger happens, and then you're going to be figuring out your star power points, so your victory points. And they're going to come from a few different things. Right here is where you write them, and then you get your total. So you're getting them from your this area right here, which is your crew. You're going to be hiring a singer and musicians and so forth. So that's your crew. The next one over here comes from these goals up here at the top. You'll be filling in some of those. You've got this right here called the harmonies. You'll be making columns and rows and getting victory points there. The next one comes from this little calendar area right here, your agenda. And again, if you complete a column or a row or even a diagonal, then you get the two things at the edges. The next one over here would be touring. This is where you tour, visit different places, get bonuses along the way, as well as victory points if you make it far enough. And then this one right here is for your releases, singles and albums, and you're going to be getting one multiplied by the other up here. So that's where your victory points are going to be coming from. That's the general idea. You're also affecting a couple of other areas, like this one over here, that if you fill in two spaces around a symbol, you get that symbol wherever it would go. So as far as the game flow goes, we've got the cards. Everybody's going to get 5 cards, and then we draft and then write the thing. So you would look at your hand of cards. You're going to have musicians like this one here. I'll come back to how you fill them in, but that is a guitar player there. And then you've got some others that tell you up here where they go and what they give you. So let's say I draft this card right here. We all would reveal our card simultaneously, and then I fill in this card. I go to my my agenda up here. It has that symbol there. So I'm going to fill in that symbol somewhere in my agenda. I would maybe do this one right here. However you want to do that, okay? So I fill that one in, fill in the whole square, whatever. When I complete a column or a row, like I said, or even a diagonal up here, I'm going to get the bonuses on the outside. If it's these, it's just victory points. If it's these other symbols, they're going to fill in on the corresponding locations, all right? The characters, well, I'm not going to go to the characters yet. Let's talk about these right here. This is your assets area right here. If I get this one, I can fill in either that symbol or that symbol. And so if I do this one, I perhaps could fill in this, and you'll see again that if you complete 2 things around these symbols, then you get a bonus. Now, characters, which is most of what I've got left, that's another one with a single symbol. That's also up in the agenda. But here we've got a musician, okay? And so this musician has a number of victory points right here in the center, and then some symbols around the outside that are color-coded, okay? So if I chose them, I could put that musician into one of these places. It has to be unlocked, and you'll notice there's a little money symbol in these 2 in the middle. Not unlocked yet. But I could put it there, or I could put it there. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to put them right here. The number goes in the middle, like so, a single victory point. And then the colors, you use these colored pencils to fill in the dots around that musician in this same arrangement. So I did the purple there. I put the little orangey red one at the bottom, and then a blue one over here. And when you complete a line between 2 dots that is of the same color, then you're going to get a bonus down here for that, okay? By that I mean, if I hire this person right here and their top dot happens to also be this orangey red, then they now connect. This line is now connected. 2 dots of the connected color. That means I can come down here and fill in any one of the matching type. So let's say I come down here and I do this one. I connect that one, okay? That symbol there is a record. It has this symbol right here. So I'm going to come up here and fill in this one. But let's say that one had already been filled for our sake, and let's say instead it's the next one. This is the little bus, your little traveling bus. So you fill that in, and then you come to this area. You start from there. You can go this way, or you could go this way. Let's say this one was already filled. And instead, I go to the next one. Great. So you'll see also some money symbols. You can't go past them until you get money. So if I do this one, I could check that one off or fill it in or however I want to. I go back up here and I mark the next one, okay? This symbol right here, by the way, with the 4 little colors, lets you fill in one of the outer dots. You begin with one already, but these outer dots around the musicians, allowing you for more connections. And so you'll see the singles that lets you unlock some money. You can hire some people or travel farther. So you got the cassette symbol there that unlocks those, the record that unlocks those. And then over here, money, traveling symbols, more of those. This symbol right here is any of these in your little harmonies area. So you can see how it's all basically connected. That's what's going to happen. You also have, sometimes you'll get these ×2, ×3, ×4 symbols. That lets you, when you take a musician, you can cross that off if it's ready to go. Let's say I've got this, and I hire a new musician. Let's say it is going to be, let's get a different person. Let's say it's going to be that singer there, okay? If I choose to, I can spend this and multiply their value. It being only a 1, that means ×3 is just 3, but then I would fill in the colors and look for those connections as well. So that's how that works. There's up here some scandals that you might run into. If you do not have a card you can take, or the only options you have are scandals, like this one here, then you're going to take a penalty up there. And those are negative victory points. And like I said, the game's going to be over when an endgame trigger happens. That's anything with this exclamation mark. So too many of these scandals or enough of these goals. The goals are up here. They tell you a number of victory points, a thing you must have completed, and then a bonus they themselves give you in an area on your player board. Once you're done drafting all 5, you're going to check if you completed any of these. We give everybody another 5, and we do it again. You also begin with your own secret goal, by the way, and you can complete that one whenever you want to. When these are completed, they do go away, and at the end of all that scoring, these things will shift, and then you put out some new scoring opportunities for the continuing rounds. So there you go. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how these various parts interact and intersect and how the scoring and the chaining combos works out. Let's go ahead and go back up top.
All right, this is one that I was super excited about.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember this Kickstarter and it stuck with me. I love the aesthetically, the art of it. I think there's a lot of neat little choices, like production that went into it that just really made me happy. It's so dumb, but like the linen finish is in a circular pattern, like a record.
Yeah.
And that just makes me really happy. That being said, I was really nervous it was going to set me up for disappointment.
Okay.
You know, Inside Up Games is coming off of doing Earth, though, so kind of, getting behind them and some of their design choices. But I was really excited to jump into this one and see how it played. And for me, it really hit everything I wanted it to. I am a fan of roll and write, draft and write, flip and write, whatever and write games. And this one really hits a sweet spot of a couple other games that I already knew that I liked.
Well, you like Welcome To. We talked about
Welcome
this, and you
To.
like Welcome To, and this one kind of reminded you of that, right?
It did. Immediately when I was playing, that's kind of what I went to. Is like, it feels like Welcome To when you're making the decisions in the moment, hoping to not block yourself into a corner too much, but without feeling as suffocating as something like Calico. Which is not a roll and write or anything like that, but it kind of that's what I don't like about that genre, where you get yourself in this corner and then the second half of the game you're just like, I can do nothing. This one still maintained that flexibility.
In my head, I see it more as like an all growed up Ganshan Clever, or That's Pretty Clever. Because of the different chunks and them jumping bonuses from one another. You know what I mean? Like this idea of or you circled this, so that says put a circle in the red track, and oh, look, the next red track spot gives you a circle in the whatever track.
Right.
Combos, right? Like these things. Unfortunately, for me, I thought that this one got lost in the weeds a little bit with all those combos, to the point that I had to start employing my fingers to point at bonuses I haven't accounted for yet. That feeling of, okay, I get a bonus here, so if I circle this, I complete this column. This column gives me 2 bonuses, one at the bottom, one at the top. Okay, the one at the top I'm going to circle is, wait, that just gave me 2 more bonuses. So I've got 2 here, and the remainder from the last one. Okay, all right, let me do this one first. Okay, I travel. Okay, cool. That travel is one more. And literally, you might unlock 8 things in a turn.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't happen every turn, but I thought that cascading thing, it lost me a little bit. I'll put it that way.
It's really interesting because there's another game that you compared it to, Tequila, which I felt like that way. I got completely lost in the cascading of that one. I couldn't follow it to the point that it was a frustration and a huge barrier to me. And it sounds like that's kind of more in the camp that you were, maybe not strongly, but in this one. Whereas in this one, I didn't have a problem with it at all. It felt very comfortable and natural because I know I have in my hand in front of me what the action I took was. And I know it's coming from over here. And that unlocked 2 bonuses. Okay, I'll take the top one. Mark off the top one. Now go do that. Okay, that cascaded. Fine. All right, let me backtrack. I'm still working on this action. So you have these kind of built between in your hand the card that you drafted and marking off the bonuses to be like, yes, I completed that one. Okay, it cascaded. That's okay. And because I know I'm not done because I've not marked it off yet. So for me, it seemed more logical, procedural, enough like visual cues in place that I did not, it felt very natural and I did not get lost in that cascading like I have in other games. So for me, I had it sounds like the opposite experience where this one rang as like, yes, I can cascade and not get lost. And that was really exciting.
Yeah, this one for me, it hits that middle gap between Welcome to, things like that, and then Hadrian's Wall, or Twilight Inscription, the ones that has the 4 sheets. This is obviously just one sheet, but it's not. It's got all the little sheets within that sheet.
Right,
and you have to balance all of it. I enjoyed the combos, and as soon as he said, there's a lot of, you start to get overwhelmed with combos. But then on top of that, also, not only going for that, working for that synergy on the colors, added that other layer that you're like, man. And I remember losing because I just ignored that part. I'm not worried with the colors. And that's so important later. So I think there's a lot of depth in here that it takes a couple plays to actually unlock a lot of that. Because there's a lot going on.
I will say, I think the color thing, the band members and their sort of, I don't know, the color thing. It's an abstract connection game, but it's, I think, the most fun part of the game.
It's really
all of these parts are really geometry, right? This could be like the geometry music game because it's like lines and columns or rows and columns. And the other one is like you connect 2 things, you unlock the bit in the middle.
Yeah, anything you
path, linear path. The other one is also rows and columns. They have that twice. But then the musician thing, which is the boxes kind of game, that's fun because you got the one you see. You look at your hand and you go, okay, this musician could go there. Ooh, red, and ooh, blue and blue. That's it done.
Yeah,
I'm taking that guy. So that part is neat, and the drafting in this game shines.
It does.
I think that's the one thing I was going to say is the drafting really shines. And it takes at least one play to really hone in and realize how tight that drafting is.
Yes.
You don't want to take a singer too early because you only get one main singer.
Yes, that's big.
But also if you nail down those colors, you lock yourself into those colors. And but if you have a singer, everyone knows to just pass you the singers because you're going to have to take one of those negative consequences.
Correct.
If you get caught with a singer and a scandal, you're up a creek. Because you have to take one of those scandal negative points. So I think the drafting it really shines and becomes so important because it is very tight depending on the player count because you shuffle additional cards in based on how many people you're playing with. And I think that really shows a great balance to it. I think almost every game I've played where it's somebody's first time of this, there's that moment where it's like, are we going to run out of cards? No, you're not. Mathematically, it's going to work out. It just means the last hand, you might all have to take 4 band members.
Right.
But if somebody went band members early on, they might be rushing that end game. So there's also a lot of variability in it. I really, really like the tightness of that and how that shines.
I have noticed
The money is so tight also in this
It's
game. Like when you take
really
that
tight.
money symbol to allow you to travel farther or hire new band members, do not sleep on those money symbols.
No.
Because you will definitely get to that point in your first couple games where you're like, oh, all right, I got to hire a drummer or whatever. Hold up.
Yeah.
I can't take one.
Yeah.
You are a
No.
starting band. You're not Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
you are
yeah,
a garage band.
Yeah, you need to put that money and
Yeah.
know where to put it into.
That's
That's
good.
really interesting. I think one of my favorite things, I guess, again, balance and mechanisms here in the game, is that some of the areas are only accessible through those bonus. I mean, the
Right.
cards you draft are only the band members, the planning, and the agenda, I think is what it's called. But 3 out of the 6 sections are only by bonus actions.
Sure.
So you might want to go for those singers, but you really have to make sure you're built up behind it for it. And I just think that adds to a lot of just interesting decisions as well. As you want to be able to go and get into this tour over here, but you can't unless you bonus yourself and cascade right.
Right. Even
You
the
know.
dots on the outside of the band,
Yeah.
you can only get those
Yes.
from those little wild
The
symbols. So
bonuses. Yeah.
yeah.
really
It's
good. Yeah.
I will say Game Link changes depending on what goal cards are up there too. Some are a bit more achievable than later than others. And then also when those next ones flip, it has that one thing that some people don't like, that all of a sudden you'd be like, oh, I'm halfway to that one. That
Right.
luck of getting a gold card that's kind to your strategy and not someone else's.
I will say I don't love that. I call
Yeah.
it the ticket to ride problem.
Right. I'm
Which is-
halfway there. Yeah.
It's that
good point.
idea of like, oh, I'm going to draw tickets. This is done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yes.
I already
Yeah.
finished it. Like,
Yes.
I just lucked into 12 points or whatever.
Right.
This game has that with those goals. The fact that they replenish and you're like, done. That's done.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's not. That's random. That's just luck.
Especially
Yeah.
when there's such a huge
So,
stack of the goals.
yeah.
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 That's
I'll give you that.
unfortunate, and it is a ding towards
Yeah.
the game for me.
Yeah. On that note, do you want to jump into final thoughts here?
Yeah,
What do you think?
this is a well put together game for sure. My problems with it, I've already voiced. My 2 main things. I think Joey just said is one of them, and then sort of the cascading thing. I like that stuff, but at some point there is such a thing as too much of a good thing, and I feel like this one, if not dips a toe in there, certainly crosses that line. Having said that, I like what it's doing quite a bit. I like this kind of game. I'm going to give this one a 7. I enjoy it. I'm happy to play it. It's not, I think, going to be like my favorite roll and write or whatever and write, but the drafting is engaging. The theme helps, even if it does feel quite abstracted. The theme helps. The illustrations help. And the production helps. So 7 out of 10 from me.
I'm significantly higher. I'm coming in at a 9 on this one. It definitely gave me like I said, the Welcome to vibes.
yeah.
That's one of my favorite games. Probably my most played solo game is
Oh.
Welcome to. It's definitely a go-to travel. Middle of the week, want to use my brain and do something fun, but not be overwhelmed. This fit right into that as well. I definitely feel myself reaching for it. I think the solo mode is very good on it. It's really easy to run. It's kind of a race against yourself at this, a race against the
Yeah.
deck going out, and it definitely sneaks up on you. Just led to it was a really tight system. But then I also really enjoyed it at 4 players.
Right.
I enjoy it for different aspects. So I think it scales really well. I love the decision space, and like you said, the drafting, which is one of my favorite mechanisms, just absolutely shines in this.
Right.
It shines in the cascading of the different bonuses that you can have and how you want to open up areas with that drafting, but not put yourself in a corner, but also really jump on that opportunity when you have a singer that works, or if you have the drum member, a drummer that works, you want to jump on that opportunity, but you realize you're putting yourself in a corner. It's just a nail biter without feeling too tight that you're fighting against yourself. So for me, this is an absolutely fabulous game. If you're like me and like Welcome to, it really reinvigorated, honestly, kind of this genre, this draft and write, roll and write, flip and write, which I was starting to burn out on a little bit. This definitely relit that flame.
Yeah, I'm coming to actually split the difference. I'm at an 8 on this because I like what this offers. I like that it kind of makes Hadrian's Wall Welcome to hybrid where you've got a lot going on. Now that being said, everything's smaller, and I think it's very easy to forget about one area where you should focus on more. Like if you're not focused on the map as much, it'll bite you at the end. I think there's a lot of layers to this. I really enjoy it. I like the parody artwork. I wish I knew more musicians so I'd have recognized it a lot. But,
I didn't realize there was parody artwork.
Yeah, so
news to me.
Maybe there's not.
I don't know if it's parody. It's homage. Let's go with
homage
homage.
artwork.
I didn't know there was that. So yeah,
but yeah, and
still
one thing
don't
is
see
the
it.
gold cards will kind of gravitate to certain people, but that just happens. So I enjoy this a lot.
All right, excellent. So that's a seal of excellence from me and some seal of recommendations here for Draft and Write Records. Let us know what you think down in the comments below, and we'll see you next time. I'm Camilla.
I'm Z.
I'm Joey.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.